asked me about my scars, and I said I'd tell you later. Under my clothes, I look like I had smallpox or something. I guess now is later. Where to start? I once told my therapist that I haven't told you that I have a therapist. I have a therapist, and now you know, I guess. I hope you don't. No, I know you wouldn't. I hope you don't think any less of me for seeing a therapist. Anyway. I told her that I felt like every person was a garden, or the human soul is a garden, and our genetics kind of throw a bunch of random seeds out there to grow, and our parents plant some seeds, and family and friends and society, they all plant seeds and affect the growth of seeds. And maybe when you're older, you get to plant your own seeds. Maybe put a bench in or something so that you can enjoy your garden. A garden filled with tall, strong trees and thick green bushes and beautiful, colourful flowers, your character traits, your personality growing beautifully. And you learn to make your fences, your boundaries, and you let some people into your garden, and you hope they don't trample on things. And you water your garden, and you try to keep your weeds under control. And just, that's how I see people, you know. And when I was little, very little, my uncle, he did things to me that no adult should ever do to a child. And I still feel shame. All this work I've done in therapy, and I still... It's a process. It is a process, and I am doing better. For most of my life, I felt like he destroyed me. I felt like he had poured toxic waste all over my garden, layer after layer, all on top of each other. A new layer for every time he fucking touched me. And I felt like my garden had mostly died. Like the things that had survived were growing wrong, strange and mutated and terrifying. And I felt like I was this tree, this beautiful tree with that bark, you know, that colourful bark? Really green and red and brown and white, but just under the surface, if you cut me, tip to cunt, as my uncle would have said, just a millimetre under that smooth bark, there was filth. And I knew that the slightest thing would split me open and this putrid, fetid, rancid filth would pour out of me, rank smelling and filled with maggots and just filth. And I felt wrong and evil at the very core of myself. And if I saw the slightest imperfection in my skin, tiny pimple, I couldn't help but pick at it. I had to get that filth out of me. I had to get him out of me. And I'd pick and pick, just tearing out lumps of flesh, bleeding everywhere. Sometimes I even needed stitches. But I couldn't stop. It was this need deep inside of me to just get it all out of me. And I did it for decades. Became almost a habit. And then I went to therapy. And I remember talking to my therapist about how my cat, Mr. Killclaws, keeps me alive. Like, I get out of bed to feed him, or I could stop from picking at my skin if he demanded a hug. And I said how privileged I felt that this tiny little creature had chosen me, that he loved and trusted me, especially after all the abuse he'd suffered. And I said that I loved him so much. I promised him I wouldn't kill myself, even though I desperately wanted to end this shit, but I wouldn't, just so I could be sure that he'd never suffer again. And she asked me where this came from, this bond and love I had with this cat, and for so long I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't answer why I loved him and why I could promise him to live, even why he had picked me, because he must have seen something in me, but that was the thing. What did he see in me? And I realised that this thing that he saw in me was where this love I had came from. It was in me, and it always had been. And suddenly I could see that this small part of my garden had survived unharmed. A part of me that he could never touch, that no one could ever destroy. These tiny little violets, blanketing the ground, growing in the face of every abuse that had been thrown at them. They are love. My violets, my love, it's all through me. And I love love. I love people. I love animals. I'm filled with love, and my garden is beautiful. It's not filled with filth. I am not filled with filth. I am filled with love. And I love fiercely, uncompromisingly, loyally. I love so easily, and I love that about myself. So, I am tending my garden. I'm getting rid of that toxic sludge. I'm helping my plants grow. Therapy helps. Mr. Killclaws helps. You help. A lot. And these scars are scars and not scabs or open wounds, because he's not in me anymore. I got him out, and my love washed him out of me. So these scars, they're the road behind me. They're not the road beneath my feet, and they're definitely not the road ahead of me. The road ahead of me is long, and there will be difficult patches, speed humps, all sorts of things, but the sides of my road are lined with the most beautiful violets everywhere. And nothing can ever